it's bullshit to say like, oh, fly on the wall documentaries, because those does not exist. Like, you're there in their lives with your cameras and your gears and everything. You're already intruding in their lives. I really hate when people say like, be invisible. No, right? The camera has a voice.
Welcome to Talk Doc to Me. I'm your host, Leia De Leon, and today we've got a special couples roundtable. I am joined by my fiance and business partner, Matthew Meredith. Together we run Unreal Stories, and all the way from Jakarta, Indonesia, we have Riani and Brahm from 710 Media. Riani is a documentary filmmaker and cinematographer. She thrives to tell stories on topics on mental health, disability, and minority issues. Her short films have played in over 50 film festivals around the world, shooting in over 10 countries. Her work has been screened on Vice Media, Discovery Channel, and PBS Network. She also was my cinematographer on my senior documentary thesis, One Familia, while we were in school together, and she traveled me to the Philippines and met all of my family, so she knows all of my family secrets. Brahm is a multidisciplinary artist specializing in documentary films, photojournalism, and art installations. Within his career, he has collaborated with various international artists to raise social, cultural, and political topics through exhibitions in Indonesia and Australia. Together, they make a powerhouse documentary couple. I have no other words than that. They are so talented. I am so honored to be here with you guys on this podcast. So thank you for being here and welcome.
Thank you.
Hi.
So happy to be here. Thank you guys.
That was a really good introduction. Thank you.
Yeah, I was like, dang.
You guys sound cool, right? You guys sound cool.
That's very cool.
I'm like, now that somebody read it out loud, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'll accept that.
All right, y'all. Are you ready to talk doc to me?
Are we?
Let's start.
Okay. So first, some quick questions just to give us a quick snapshot of who you are, where you've been, and where you're going. Okay. So some quick questions. Riani, you can answer first, and then Brahm, you can answer second. Where were you born?
I was born in Jakarta, the city. Well, we're not in Jakarta, but yes. Jakarta.
And Brahm?
Yeah, same. We're both like born and bred Jakarta.
And where do you currently live?
We live in near Jakarta.
No, it's funny. We just say like we live in Jakarta, but we're actually on the outskirts of it. But it sounds cooler if we say we live in Jakarta.
We're like in Orange County of LA, but yeah.
I understand. Respect. Okay. What was your first job ever?
Oh.
You can go first.
I work as a janitor in this production company called Deluxe Productions, and they handle VFX in Melbourne. Like X-Men and everything. I once saw Hugh Jackman and I was like mopping the floor for him, and I'm like, hey, can I get your autograph?
Did you really? Did you get his autograph?
Yeah, I lost it somewhere though. I moved houses multiple times in Melbourne, but I do wish I still have it.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That is exquisite. Okay.
I love Hugh Jackman.
Oh, he's so friendly in person. You wouldn't believe. Yeah. He's so friendly in person. I'm just like a janitor, like vacuuming, mopping the floor, and he's like, hey, bud. I'm like, can I get your autograph? I'm like, yeah, sure. It's like on a napkin, so that's fine. He was cool.
Riani?
Should have gone first, I feel like. No, but I guess like the first time I got paid was I was actually playing ukulele in a wedding for my teacher in high school. But yeah.
Wow.
It was fun.
y'all are great. Y'all are well-rounded. Y'all are good.
Can you still play the ukulele?
A little bit, but it's out of tune. It's right here.
Wow.
Okay, a little jingle. Even though it's out of tune, I just want to hear.
Yeah, sure.
It's out of tune. I don't know what to play.
Just strum it. Yay.
It's like ding, 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 ding.
Amazing. Wow. Bravo. Little did we know that we would have a performance in this podcast. Okay.
That's cool that you're musically talented too. I feel like
These are quick questions,
Oh,
remember?
sorry.
We're not there yet.
Sorry. I was impressed with the ukulele thing.
Okay. First job in the film industry.
Would my job be considered as a job in the film industry?
I was actually wondering that. Is that how you got your start? Like by becoming a janitor?
Definitely not. Like I got fired from that job after like the fourth month because I was busy doing something else, like i.e. my education. But yeah, nah. Maybe Riani can start this one first.
I guess the first real paid job was key gripping for a feature film. But also like the non-paid role for film industry was also gripping, so I guess I started in grip.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was actually doing journalism first, and then I went into documentary because it seems like the right path to go. Because I guess that's how I entered the film industry, but not exactly the film industry, because I was doing freelance. Yeah.
Okay, got you. What are you guys usually shooting on right now?
We have the C200, so that's what we usually use, I guess, unless there's different preferences for clients and stuff.
Yeah.
That's why we got the C200, because of Riani.
Same.
And when you're not making films, what are you up to?
Sleep.
It's very sad. Suddenly I got really sad when you said that. What have I been up to? I guess just playing games.
Taking care of her island in Animal Crossing.
Oh, that's been abandoned for like months, but yes.
Taking care of your cats, you know?
Yeah, cleaning up after their mess.
Cleaning up after their shit, their mess, feeding them, pet them. It's fun, but yeah, to be honest, our cats are probably our best emotional anchors. Because they just know when we get really stressed, you know, like they just bang on our room and then they just like demand to be in if we like, you know, have our stressful times together. So they just want to be like, hey, let me in. Like, you can cuddle me instead. They'll be like that. You're funny.
Love it.
I love it.
Okay, and how long have you guys been dating?
2 years now?
Yeah, almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years, yeah.
And how long have you been working together?
More than 2 years.
More than, yeah. So like we started working together. 2
years. Next July, yeah.
Yeah, exactly 2 years. So like we date for like maybe like 1 year and like 8 months, 10 months. But then we started working together. So like basically 3 months before we start dating.
Mm-hmm. And whose idea was it to start a company together?
It was actually our other old roommate's idea because I was just talking to him. He just came to my house and then she started like, oh my god, you guys have the same vision. You guys need to like work together. And then it happened.
Yeah, the story came a bit before that. So basically, she asked for like a friend in documentary filmmaking in the area, and apparently like she moved to my area, and I'm like, hey, I'm nearby. Do you want to meet? So I just go to her place, and then our friend was there. So Anissa's our mutual friend, and we started talking together. Like, hey, yeah, a great big story, like Vox, Vice, you know, like all these short documentaries that we want to make. And then Anissa's just like, yeah, man, like you guys should just like hang together. You guys are fun. You should work together. You guys like same vision, same everything.
Nice. Amazing. Okay. Well, let's dive in. So you were kind of answering this, but tell me the origin story of 710 Media. So from that conversation, like what happened next? And we're out of the quick questions now, so we can...
we should.
I'm allowed to speak now. I think.
Not doing quick question just now. Quick answers.
I know, I'm like, that wasn't a quick question, but it's okay.
We nailed our quick questions in 12 minutes.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Okay. Then you can start first since you started way before.
Oh, yeah. So I guess I start from like how I started 710 Media because it started in Melbourne. When I started 710, right? So the name itself is kind of like how it all began. So in Melbourne, studying film, but I feel like I'm not actually doing film. So like not much of like going into the industry and everything. Meanwhile, in Melbourne, I felt like I wasn't doing anything much. So I then started to just told myself like maybe I should start something new, like something that I can claim that it's mine. So like something I can just start, like, like begin something. And I moved to a place because I used to live in a shared house and it wasn't like a good environment to actually like start something, like there's so much noise and mess and everything. So I moved with my brother to this place called 710 Station Street. And then it began like a little, like, production house together. So like, 710 Media, because we live in 710 Station Street in Melbourne. And it began. So like, we started doing documentaries, commercial work in Melbourne, just finding clients and everything. But after a while, my visa expired, so I have to go back to Indonesia. So I closed down 710 because there's no one else who would continue. So I joined.
How old were you when that happened?
Sorry?
How old were you when that happened?
I was in 2019, so...
When it first made, or?
2018.
No, when your visa expired and you had to go back to Indonesia.
Oh, yeah. So I started 710 in late 2017. So that was like when I was 22. Wait, no. Yeah, 22. And then I left Melbourne when I was 24, 2019. So like, 1.5 years or something of 710 Media in Melbourne. But then I went back to Indonesia, and because I have no networks, because I've been in Melbourne for so long, I start a new production house with my friends, but that didn't go well. And then I met Riani. Because there's not much documentary-focused filmmakers or production houses in Indonesia. So when I met Riani, it kind of like kickstarts a new thing again. So like, hey, like documentaries are fun. There's this niche in the market that we can tap into, because most documentary clients and partners are mostly overseas, like foreign medias and foreign companies and NGOs. Getting into Indonesia and looking for local talents that can be a bridge with the local story, but still maintain that, that's, how you say it, like
high level of cinematography and
kind
execution.
of, like just balance, because we know what they want, because we used to study overseas, so we know how they think.
Like the visual style of like the Western storytelling.
Yeah, so we can basically bridge that gap because there's no one there at that moment. So that's why like Riani was also like, let's do that.
Yeah.
And did you think it was a good idea? Wait,
Sorry.
when this first happened, Riani, were you like scared of anything, or like where were you at in your career when this happened?
Well, because I came home to Indonesia in 2019 after I did your film in the Philippines. I was like, okay, time to go home. Anyways, and then after that, the pandemic happened. So like, because at first I came back and then I worked on my own on like other projects, and then I was still trying to like break into like the DOP career path, I guess. But then a lot of things happened in that industry as well that I wasn't very comfortable with. But also the pandemic happened, so like there was no jobs basically for like everyone. And then at that time I was actually working for as a communications person for this documentary organization in Indonesia that kind of gives like funding, workshops, and all that stuff, basically. So at that time, like I did feel like I think everyone had a lot of like questions, especially Indonesia, about like the pandemic, like what are we gonna do after? How am I gonna survive, kind of thing, in the long term. Because then a lot of people realize that like, like if you're working for somebody, your job is not gonna last. If you're working freelance, things like this can happen anytime. And then I think at that point I was also thinking like, okay, how am I gonna like survive for a long time, basically. And then and then I met Brahm, and then I was like, okay, I think it's good to have at least somebody who can like understand what I want to do in terms of the vision, kind of thing. So and then like I think really wanted to make something that like that's really like something that's like really I'm passionate about rather than just kind of like, work or whatever. So it was, I was actually quite excited when we started it. I didn't really think about like, oh my God, it's going to be so hard. I don't think that was like in any of our minds, to be honest.
That wasn't the case at all. So
we didn't realize what we were getting ourselves into, basically.
well, we were so passionate when we first started, basically.
How did you guys like brainstorm in the beginning? Like, did you guys just like talk for a really long time? Did you like, what was kind of like the first initial brainstorms like?
There were no brainstorms.
Oh, there were. We talked for a while and you had your little book.
Oh, yeah.
And then you wrote down like all the stuff like, okay, this is our branch. We're going to like target this and target this market. This is how we're going to make money. This is how we're going to like this things that we're passionate about, we're going to make. Like, because we had that a platform called Stories of Us. They're like, okay, we're going to make our own original content here. It's like related to the pandemics. And then with 710, we're going to like target like, okay, we're going to, at first we had like a few different targets. We're like,
a few different targets. So like, basically, in my naive way of thinking back then, so like startups, startups, foreign companies, and NGOs, like both foreign or Indonesian. So like,
that was the original plan.
Yeah, that was the original plan.
Okay.
But because I thought startups are like the easy way to get like commercial business out of. So like, because they have money, they have funding and everything. And NGOs are like, they got funding as well. Like foreign NGOs have a lot of money, and foreign medias. Like we try to pitch to like Asahi, we aim like, okay, NHK, Al Jazeera and stuff like that. So basically like three branch of just like things we can aim for. But yeah, it didn't work out as well as we thought it was because a lot of things like learning, for example, like startups, it's easy to target startups as your first client. But then you realize that startups are probably the worst first client you can have. Because...
And why is that? Why is that?
Yeah, because... so with startups, right? They have like big vision, but they have like a certain amount of money in their bank, like, in their budget, right? So since they are new, they're young, they want to start fresh. So with this, this amount of money, they're expecting something big because it's part of their dream. You're helping them grow. It's everything. So basically, it's like a high risk, like basically, but very budgeted way of like, production. So basically, that's it. And then when you realize that, it becomes like a lot. Because like revisions after revisions after revisions, like it's hard to communicate like between their vision and how we create it with the limited budget that we have. So because for them, that money is a lot. That even like as small as it is, it means a lot for them. But then if you work for big companies, right, they just go like their money goes like, they're like, hey, we want this, right? And then you just go like, okay, here's your money. We are paid within like what, a week or like less than a month.
More on like startups too, being maybe a tough client. I feel like, yeah, maybe startups, right? They're very passionate, but they also don't really know what they want because they're so inexperienced in a sense at what they're creating,
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it makes it tough to pin down a video.
How do you guys normally split up your roles? I know it changes project to project, but I'm sure that and for us also, like in the beginning, maybe we thought it was one thing, or over time you kind of realize what the skill sets the other person brings to the table. So yeah, just like tell me how you guys split up the roles and what each person is good at. And maybe Riani, you can like call out what Brahm is really good at, and Brahm, you can call out like what Riani's really good at and kind of play it that way.
That'll work, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go first since we catch us up. Okay, I think like at first, to be honest, and when we first started, we both just kind of do everything together, just take turn on like different things. But I think as we grow bigger, we realized that like it's better for us to actually do separate projects. Sometimes like not completely separate projects, but kind of like, for example, it used to be like, okay, if I produce, he directs. If he produce, I direct, kind of thing. But then we realized, I think as a couple, it's better for us to like hire different people also under us. But basically, like on set though, I think one thing that's good about Brahm is he's very versatile. You can put him in any position and he'll be fine. Like sometimes he'll be like our sound man, sometimes he'll be like the cameraman, producer, whatever, like lighting. He's been everywhere basically. So like he's very good at that. But I guess recently found out as well that Brahm is also very good at like people managing basically in a way, kind of like when things starting to like, you know,
when things start to fall apart.
He's a very good mediator and like a lot of things. So I think on the bigger projects, like on commercial bigger projects, I think Brahm is like a good producer in that sense. And then then when it happens, I'm directing usually. But I guess we usually just take turn. But nowadays, I think we try to make it like, okay, if I'm like producing or directing, then Brahm can just be like my DOP or like sound or whatever. And then if he's like producing, directing, then I can be his DOP or anything else on set, basically. Yeah, I think that's how we are doing now.
Yeah.
Well, so kind of like splitting. So kind of like splitting, because I guess like for directing and producing, it's kind of like those are like the really intense like brain areas, like almost like I've never thought of it in this way, but like maybe like I don't know, left brain and right brain kind of thing, where like the director needs to work with the producer, and sometimes you can be your own brain in a sense, but like maybe what you guys are saying, like as a couple, sometimes it's nice to like have someone else fill that other brain, because the director-producer relationship can be like hard at times. Like, you know, you're just working so closely together and doing a lot of things.
Yeah, because like, I've been learning more, I guess, the role of the producer is like, you're not only just kind of making sure that like all the producing aspect, you know, goes well and client is happy and all that stuff, but you also have to like understand as well what the crew needs, what the director needs in the creative vision. You're just kind of like,
you're the glue.
You're the glue
of the whole project.
it's like a set parent role, you know? Exactly.
I mean, like on sets, like all of our crew considered us as like their parents. So like, hey, mom and dad, don't fight.
It's kind of true though. It's like you're the decision maker, right?
Yeah.
It's like you get all the goods and you get all the bads.
Yeah. Okay, wait. So tell us about, let's share a recent time that you guys might have like had a stressful set, or like, yeah, have you guys ever argued on set in front of other people? Like, just tell me a like couple story.
We've never argued in front of people.
No, we try to keep it very professional in front of other people, because you know it affects our relationship with them as well, and how they see us basically. But yeah, we do argue offset a lot. Just like things.
Yeah, but the thing is like, okay, right now, for example, our house is pretty much like a post-production house, because like our editor came by, is like staying in our office, and then our GFX person also just came by last night to stay in our office, and then our story designer is like next door. So like, I mean, at home it's a bit harder to like hide how we're actually doing, so they can feel the tension.
Oh, they can definitely feel the tension. So like, it's so funny. Like they're trying to subtly just like divert conversation if it gets too tense. Like, so like we just ate, like for example, we ate pizza together, right? And then we argue or something. Like I mentioned something about work, and Riani's probably pissed about it already. Like, just stop talking about work. And I'm like, but that's my day, you know, like. And then like we it's like an awkward silence, and then he'll be like, that pizza was good. Did you like the pizza? Yeah.
No, but
pizza sounds good.
Yeah. I agree with you though, like not arguing on set really, but yeah, there have been moments of frustration and tense. We don't have any live-in editors or anything like that, so I guess they don't.
I'm the live-in editor.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I would say sometimes we won't like argue in front of people, but we'll have like a clear couple like you just annoyed me moment, but like we have to complete the task at hand, you know? And honestly, I've found people laugh at it a lot, actually. It's pretty, like, people find it funny. I don't know.
If we're like in a good mood about it, you know, like...
Yeah, we're always playful about it.
Yeah, if you're more playful about it, I feel like it comes at like, it almost like makes people like, or clients or your crew like laugh at you more or like relate to you more, you know?
I can be a bit particular about how certain things are on set. So...
Yeah, maybe that's why I don't put stuff away. You're like, why aren't you helping? I'm like,
I don't ask you that.
Because I don't, or like, you're just like, Leia, like you should just pack the car. Like you should just go and like feel confident about it. And I'm like, sure, okay. But like, then I'm so worried I'm going to pack the car incorrectly or like put a wire away wrong. Like it's like one of my worst fears, honestly.
I have this need to preserve everything perfectly. Some like air quotes on perfectly.
Which I appreciate because it keeps our equipment nice and all of that, you know, like I truly do appreciate it.
But then I'm also playing a game of Tetris when I'm packing things away. So yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess, okay.
Hey, that pizza was good.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, no, I'm just listening because I do feel the same way as,
That's
you
probably
know, like,
how we sound as well.
Yeah. No, that's because I mean, like, no offense, but she likes to, even like her own equipments, right? Her C200s and whatever. Expensive equipments, right? The way she stores things might not be the way I would like to store things. And we get our equipments missing, things gets broken, and I'm like, oh no. I'm like, no. Yeah. Pizza was definitely good though.
I get it. Yeah, it's because my dad growing up was just like, keep your stuff nice.
Exactly. Oh my God. I think like he's probably like grew up in an Asian household or something.
That's why he fits in so well. Okay. When you were first starting and even now, like what are some platforms or apps or like maybe things that people don't know about that you guys use for either project management or like getting your stories out, like anything, you know, related to your business and work life?
Project management. I mean, to be honest, we tried a lot of different things, but in the end, we just came back to like Google Docs.
Yeah, that's the thing. Try to keep, so like our way of thinking recently is just to keep everything simple, like keep it simple, stupid. Like just, you know, so we can teach other people on how to like do it real fast instead of like having different applications or like different softwares and then have to onboard them on that. Takes so much time and not a lot of people can understand. So yeah, it basically like Google Sheet, Google Docs, keep everything on the Google Drive folder, basically categorized and everything is just simple enough as is.
Yeah, because we did try like, what was it? What was that application that we tried with the...
ClickUp?
Is it a ClickUp? And it was like, oh, it's for like a management, like scheduling kind of thing, and then kind of helps. I mean, it looks nice. It looks very neat and everything. Polished. Yeah. But then, like, for example, like, okay, we need to share this with our freelancers. Then they'll have to join ClickUp. They have to join this whole thing. It's just like even right now, we're working with a client that uses this other app called Asana. But then again, they're only giving us access, but it's hard for us to like, okay, we need to give this to our editors as well. And then, you know, it's just a lot when it's like a bigger team. So it's easier, like, okay, Google Calendar, then I can just share the calendar with you, and then that's it.
Anything that is free and accessible, it's easier to do our things on those. Basically, the Google platform has provided that for us.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are like I'm like on the road to getting there, but like you guys are just a little bit ahead of me because I feel like I recently was like, well, I'm always interested in like how to like streamline stuff, how to make it the most efficient, like, and I think what you said is so smart, like keeping it super simple, because you're right. I've come across a lot of issues trying to share different things and having like people like onboarded and stuff. So,
basically, she's saying we just started using ClickUp like a month ago, and
okay, what
and
I
now
will
we're
say,
hearing the story of your guys' experience.
Okay, but here's what I will say though. I think ClickUp is great. I think you and I should use it, like, and honestly, Kaylee a little bit, but not for clients, not for freelancers. Like, I think it is helpful to see, because there's just so much stuff going on. Like, and Google Docs, maybe you guys could share how you're keeping track of everything. But at least in ClickUp, I feel like I can like keep tabs on everything.
But
maybe it's a personal
fair,
thing and not a team thing though. Maybe it's a personal thing.
I feel like Brahm's point though about how it's like a new platform to learn, even myself, like I'm not super familiar with it. We just like lost the ability to make dashboards all of a sudden. And like I just now, instead of having all these to-dos that are still not done, I now have extra emails from ClickUp telling me that these things are still not done, you know? And so it's just like doubling down.
Yeah, you can turn that off, actually.
Yeah, like it's so annoying, like receiving emails from ClickUp, like saying that these things are not done. Yeah, it is done, but I just don't know how to turn it off. It's just like insane.
Yeah, and even if I do complete a task within there, I feel like it's like I'm using 25 apps just to live my life. So adding in another is complicated.
Good. Okay, so keep it simple, stupid. That is...
Yeah, I've also heard Simon, for those who are a bit more prude.
Yeah,
know?
Simon. That's really good.
To be honest, we do have like a separate thing. We use Discord.
Yeah.
For our main communication, because one, it's free, right? Compared to Slack, it's easy to get people on board on Discord. And they have like all the things we might need. So like voice chats, video calls, like live stream. Even if we ever need to like do a session with our editors, Discord live stream is the best way to go, because it's real time and you can see like the cursor moving like in real time. So that's good.
Nice.
The ability to keep channels and servers separated. So like each of our different projects, and everyone who joined the server is basically seeing a different thing. So like she managed Discord, to be honest, Riani, and she basically had like full-timers, freelancers, admin. So like admin, just both of us, and we can see like a whole bunch of other channels like invoices, clients, and everything. But for full-timers, they can see like other things like stories of us or all of our other projects. And freelancers can only see the servers that they're assigned to. So like they can look in other server, but then they only see the servers that they're assigned. So like this project, and that's it.
Yeah. It's like easy enough for us that you don't have to like teach them how to use Discord, because they just go in and they're like, okay, this is the project that I'm doing.
Exactly.
And it's all just chats and then links, and you can pin stuff.
Wow. Dropping knowledge every single time we hang out.
Leia emailed herself a link to Discord while you were talking.
Nice. No, but it's good. Also fun, because it's like supposed to be like a thing for gaming.
Yeah, so like GIFs.
Yeah, I've heard
Discord,
like
just chatting,
so
like
much.
you can share memes and GIFs, just like, hey, like we're struggling, and then here's like this sad cat emoji, it's nice. It keeps the mood light.
That's awesome. Okay. And how have you guys inspired or impacted the other person's work as a documentary filmmaker?
Like
each other?
Yeah. Like once you started working together, like how did I don't know. I feel like filmmaking is so interesting because it requires, many people to bring it to life, but also your personal perspective on things and like personal direction when you're directing a piece or even producing a piece. Like your creative lens is totally, shaped over time and definitely by the people that you work with and things that you're inspired by. So I'm curious, working together, especially now, like, 2 years or 3 years into it, like how has your creative lens as an individual changed because of working with one another?
It's a very good question. Never thought about it.
I think like biggest thing for me is like I used to work everything by myself. So like as she said before, like I can do so many things because I'm used to do all these things by myself in Melbourne. But learning to work in a team, learning to trust another, like trust, for example, like the reason why I like working with Riani in the beginning because she's the first person who's handling like as a DP that can understand what I'm trying to do. So that it really like it simplifies the whole thing because she can already understand the way I want to like film things. And then I slowly learn how to trust my other teammates and my other crew members through her, basically. Like learn to delegate, learn to trust other people in the process, even though it might not be what you envision it to be, but it's a collaborative process. And learn to, be surprised or like learn to accept what other people like point of views and everything. So yeah.
Very nice.
She's like, yeah, you got it.
No, but I mean, I guess like for me, okay, if it's like working wise, I think Brahm is better at like, how do you say, again, like in a way, connecting people and bringing like making sure everyone is okay. I think in our company, for example, like I think Brahm is better at like, being personal to everyone and then making sure that everyone's feeling good and like making sure that everyone is okay and keeping the mood up than I am. I feel like that's the case.
Yeah, but I can't, like it needs to be like another person to like just because I'm really bad at pushing people. Like
yeah, I know. I mean,
I need deadlines, but like I'm like, hey, it's okay. Your mom got sick, it's fine. And like, hey, your cat got injured, that's okay.
Sorry. No, I mean, I guess work-wise, I feel like that was that's like a learning point for me because like I do tend to have like a more distant approach with the people I work with, just because I don't want. It's just like it's just like a personal thing, but like I think that's like I learned about okay, so this is how you kind of make sure everyone's feeling good on set and stuff like that. But I mean, like I think creative wise, as like a documentary filmmaker, I think like Brahm on set when you're as a director and everything, you can get along with our how do you say, maybe because like subjects better. Like I think it's also like a thing that we learned from the US, at least from Chapman, is that like you need to have a certain distance with your subject. You can't get too close. Blah blah. As like a documentary filmmaker, that I've kind of learned that a bit. That's not exactly what I want to do here. And I think like maybe because Brahm's background is from like journalism and like more like an arts background, he's more like kind of grassroots in his way of like approaching people, rather than like filmmakers tend to have like, oh, okay, we're here to film your story, but it doesn't seem genuine sometimes. But like I think that's like a good thing that you do. I realized on set is that you can make the protagonist, the subjects, very comfortable because it's like more genuine and not like just a one-sided approach kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's kind of similar with Matthew too. I feel like with our recent subjects, it's been almost like your directing approach is like to become really good friends with them first. And like sometimes that's not always possible for like some maybe branded projects or some quicker stuff that maybe you have to meet them and film them in the same day.
Yeah, that's way harder.
But, for our longer term, like original projects, I think we've found that to be really successful. And I feel like too, I agree with what you said, Riani. Like, I feel like there is that kind of like, almost like barrier that you put up sometimes as being a filmmaker and being like, oh, like, you're not like intruding or like, it's almost like, I don't know, there is just like that kind of barrier that you're the outsider looking in a sense. At some points, like, and yes, you can cross that barrier at certain points, but like it's still there. Versus like kind of like what I feel like you were saying is like the same for us, where I'm like, I don't know, you texting them all the time, you calling them, like checking in on them, like making them a favorites, like in your phone to remind you to like, just like call and ask them how they're doing is actually the best method, because then they're actually going to tell you like when something's going on, or like they're going to tell you when they're upset or if something happened.
Have you guys ever read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People?
I haven't read it, but I know the book. So.
I read the book 1001 Ways to Make Small Talks.
That's probably a good book too. But I think a lot of the concepts in there is like basically also like they could just like change the title of the book, which is like how to like, you know, befriend your subject basically, to gain their trust. Cause it's like, you know, Leia said this not too long ago where it's like, I become my characters. Like, not only am I trying to become good friends with them, like I try to live out a similar lifestyle to some degree that they're living out, you know, and it's probably a little organic because I'm just interested in the topic of whatever they're passionate about because I have some interest and passion for it too. But like the guy we're filming right now, Andre, I did jujitsu at his, you know, academy for like 6 months plus before we actually like asked him to do the documentary. You know, you got to catch a vibe, but you just got to show face, right? It's actually like our subject was saying that like advice about how to get better at jiu-jitsu is like tip number 1, show up, you know? And it's like, that's the best advice for everything. It's like
for everything.
Gaining trust with people. It's like, how do you gain trust? Well, maybe you should just show up in their life consistently. That would work, right? Like, yeah. It's pretty simple at the end of the day, actually.
Yeah. I agree.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the thing with like people, right? Because obviously like you've won in a project, you'll be able to interview someone that already has been interviewed like 1,000 times before. And how to make your interview different from them is to actually like understand their way of thinking, like their point of view, their perspective on things, right? That's how you get a deeper conversation with your subject because you actually understand what they're going through. And I think that's important for us to actually do that instead of just like, hey, and start like questioning them about their lives and everything. So yeah, it's very important to maintain that relationship first and then film second. Yeah.
Right. I bet if I was at Chapman and I told them my idea was to like fly across the country and live with my subject for a week, they would be like, I don't know about that.
No, I feel like that's fine. Like living with someone is normal, I feel like.
Yeah? Okay.
I mean, I took Riani to my family reunion for like over a month.
That's fair.
I was like, come on board, man.
It was your family though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a different thing, but I do think that with documentary, it is like you definitely insert yourself.
Yeah, you have to like insert yourself, right? And like the more off-camera conversations you have, right, where you're just like hanging out, you discover things about them where you're like, ooh, I should ask them about this. You know?
Exactly, yeah. And it's bullshit to say like, oh, fly on the wall documentaries because those does not exist. Like you're there in their lives with your cameras and your gears and everything. Fly on the wall documentaries just doesn't exist anymore. Like it just never existed in the beginning because you're already intruding in their lives, and how you position yourself in their lives is what makes it different, basically.
What's a better analogy than fly on the wall?
That's a good question. Better analogy.
Like just be invisible. I really hate when people say like be invisible. No, right? The camera has a voice. Like Riani, when she's filming like, you know, her subjects, her camera needs to have a voice in the film. It can't be like an observer, like a third party observer that's just like invisible, filming their lives and everything. No, it needs to have a voice in the film.
That's interesting. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. So is that voice like consistent for, like, let's say you're filming with a character for a longer form project. Is that voice consistent throughout, or does that voice kind of change depending on like how the scene is being used or like how the scene is playing out?
What do you think when you're filming the group, for example?
That's a shorter thing. But I mean, like, for example, because I'm producing a feature film right now with Riri, right? That kind of thing. Because, like, so my director's approach in the beginning, she wanted to be more like observational, verite kind of, not verite, sorry, observational for filmmaking, or she's just kind of like from far shooting this this elderly person. But then when I was like watching it, I told her like, this feels very distant. Like I don't feel like I understand who this person is, because like I know like you and this like my director and him has like a very strong connection that like is important to also like capture on camera in however way we do it. But because like he was like really trying to be like, oh, fly on the wall kind of thing, that intimacy is gone basically. Yeah, because like, so like I mean, yeah, I told her like, I think it's like because like we both know, for example, that like her being there in his life shooting the story that he's telling is actually changing the way he's thinking also about. Okay, so basically the story is about like him looking for his family. That's like the main premise, going back to his family. But because she's there also kind of like asking questions, following him, I think he has more drive to actually now go back to his family. And I feel like as a filmmaker, it's like kind of bullshit if you're like saying like, oh yeah, we don't want to like change anything in our subject's life, but in a way you're still kind of, even if you try to avoid it, you are kind of changing something in their lives. And I think it's better to like acknowledge it in however way you portray it, rather than just kind of like
yeah, no, like, because like the subject keeps addressing her like through the camera as well, like, hey Riri, look at this. And because she's so distant and she's trying to be invisible, she wasn't close enough to actually have that interaction with him like naturally. So like, hey, yeah, look at this, like, because like he'll show something to the camera, or like he'll show something, or like just introduce another character to the camera.
No, so, I mean, it's not that, to be honest.
Yeah, but because he's addressing the director.
No, because he's trying to be a fly on the wall. He doesn't even kind of like acknowledge. I don't know how to say. It's just like it just feels very distant because of it. But anyway, sorry.
Should we bring the pizza in?
No, I wasn't pizza vibes. No. I'm glad we're talking about this, because I actually just want to go deep into verite filmmaking, because I think what you said is so, what I find so compelling and unique and refreshing about your guys' work is the verite filmmaking, what I would call verite filmmaking, or, you know, what some people might call observational filmmaking. And so I guess, yeah, like, let's have a discussion about what does verite mean to you? Like, what does it mean to us? Like, how does verite play a role in documentary and the way that we look at things?
How did that word come about?
Well, it means like truth. Like it's
cinema,
like a French.
Cinema verite is the complete word. So like cinema verite, cinema truth, or like how people would want to be presented in front of the camera, or like how they want to perform a certain way, or like just behave a certain way in front of the camera, because they want to be portrayed as their best self, like how they want to be perceived as. A very good example for that is two of our recent films, like Teguh for you and Pitur for me. Teguh, so her film, maybe you can explain that.
I wouldn't say there was a verite filmmaking.
But they show their love to each other in a heightened way, in front of the camera, because they want to, confess their love to one another in front of the camera. I mean, like, they're pretty wild off camera as well, but like in front of the camera, they really perform and just be like, very domestic, very, But that's how the film is supposed to be. We're filming their lives, and this is how they want to be portrayed. And it's not a lie. It's just something they do,
The way you were describing was making me think of like how like people who film weddings, it's like in a way actually cinema verite. And I was like, we should recruit some wedding videographers.
He was a wedding videographer.
Yeah. And we hire some wedding videographers for our work as well before, and they do some really amazing stuff. Remember?
Yeah. I mean, our editor, Asti, is also a wedding videographer, wedding editor.
Yeah.
Finding that moment in a person's life, right? Finding those little moments when you're an editor or like when you're a videographer and you find like these small, that very human moments. That's also like, documentary filmmaking.
And how do we create those human moments? Like, what are those like small things? Like, and a lot of it I think is theory. So I feel like we're on that topic. But like, what are some things that you've learned that some either like mindset things or even like things that you say to your subject, or just how you overall, like, how do you create those most human moments?
I feel like really spending time with these people and making them comfortable with our presence there. I think that's like the biggest thing. Then
letting us into their life, basically.
Yeah, because like, for example, I've been doing this like one film for like 2 years. Now finally finishing it this week, I think. But yeah, like, one of the reasons why it took so long was like, I didn't feel like I had that access going in. Like, I don't think she was, because she's a bit of a background. She's deaf, so like, as me who is a hearing person and doesn't really understand sign language, it's a bit hard to like, for her to like get comfortable with me and stuff like that. But I think like the same approach as like Matt said, like I just tried to like be her friend before being a filmmaker first. And then after that, she started to like be more comfortable with me. I mean, with or without camera also. And then that's when I feel like I actually finally capture like the real human emotions and moments. I think it might be harder with like more kind of like branded or like crunch content, but it's documentary filmmaking, I guess, more like that.
The opposite extreme is for me to actually give my subject the camera themselves, because we filmed like this bike community in Yogyakarta before. Like they were like a very tight community, but as much as I try to belong in that community, I will never be a member of that community within the short time I had, right? So in order for me to capture like more off-camera moments, I gave them this small handycam, like this small like handheld camera, just like gave it to them. And the things like when I was reviewing the footage, like the things captured in that handycam is basically like better than like the big cameras, because it's more intimate, right? It's more conversational, more inside jokes. It's more like they're so relaxed around the camera because they know who's behind the camera. If you understand, if the person behind the camera is their friend, then they're willing to be more open, when compared to like a stranger behind the camera. So that's why we gave them, like the handycam so that they can film themselves. That logic applies,
Yeah, same idea.
So when you just said that too, it reminded me, we did an interview recently for our subject, Andre Galval, the jiu-jitsu fighter, and we did a face-to-face interview with, a glide gear, not an iDirect, but similar.
Yeah, have you guys ever used that?
What is it?
It's
like a little box thing that has mirrors in it, so it looks like you're looking face-to-face with your subject, but they're looking directly into the lens.
Oh, it's like Errol Morris style interviews.
Like Ben Proudfoot, right? He does a ton of films. All of his films, pretty much, he uses that stuff. But what I noticed was like, it's so intimate, not just because you're looking face to face, but like the camera disappears. Right?
Yeah.
And so it's like you literally are talking directly into the camera, but like you don't even know that it's like, it's there, but you start to forget because you're looking eye to eye with one another and they're seeing me going like,
Yeah.
But it was just like it's so beautifully intimate, but like it's almost like it's like Verite and like interviews had a baby, because it's like they kind of forget about the camera. I feel like some people get weirded out by the fact that there's cameras and lights,
Mm.
But yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like
very
it disguises it. It disguises the camera versus like if you have like just eye contact and you still see the camera like in your peripherals, like sure, some people can get lost, like just looking at the person, but in your peripherals, you're still going to see the camera.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus like with what we did here, it's like, it's just this big blob, but your face is in the middle of the blob. There's no like extra camera anywhere else. So it's like your attention can actually focus in really well.
Yeah, it was really fascinating.
That's something I would like to try in a project.
You should try it.
Try
should
it.
try it.
We really liked it. We were like, wow, we didn't think we were going to like it this much, but we do.
And this isn't even like super new technology, but Ben Proudfoot does it in like every single one of his films. And I'm like, why does he always do that? And then I did it once and I'm like, I get it. I think he's going to create a trend where like everyone does it. And I don't even know if it's him that started it, but like, I think
I'm starting to see it more, I feel like. But yeah, from our first time using it, I really...
Well, because you could still film direct to camera, but it's just direct to camera, like...
Yeah, but that's hard.
Yeah.
It's way harder. People need practice with that.
Yeah.
I would love to try that because it gives a more intimate experience for the audience as well, because it seems like you're talking with the subject in the video because the subject's directly looking at you as the audience.
Right, they're like, hey audience, here's my story.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's definitely is interesting. Would love to try that. Maybe one day we can create something like that in Indonesia.
Yeah, for sure.
Just get it from B&H.
I'm like, we should build our own. That's better.
Honestly, yeah, why not? How is filming in the US different than in Indonesia? Or like how, like kind of recap like your experiences abroad and how it's different for you in Indonesia.
Okay. I think like the way that we approach the subject is different. I feel like you should talk about this because we were working as a fixer for like an American production very, very recently. And I felt like there was a different in the way they might approach some things versus the way that we might approach things as the locals here, basically.
Yeah.
And what is a fixer?
Oh, yeah.
Explain what a fixer is and then tell us.
So like a fixer is basically like the on location kind of like person who's in charge of like producing things, basically making sure that like we get all the access to subject, we get access to locations, everything is safe, everything is run smoothly in that country that you're shooting in. So like
that location, it can be like a location.
It can be location, it doesn't have to be a country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like the local I guess knowledge that you're hiring, basically.
Yeah, the local person that could bridge between, act as a bridge between you and the subject, basically. Yeah, so I've signed an NDA, so I can't disclose what the film's about, but so basically there's this a team from the United States came to Indonesia to film a documentary here. And the way they do things is quite different because they value, I think it's due to the cultural aspect of things as well. So they value their presence, their time, because we hit some obstacles in the filming process. And there are some people who are uncomfortable being filmed or on camera. The way they push things is basically they will arrive to the location and then they will start filming. And then when someone objects to their presence, they will be like, hey, can we just, find a solution here? We're already in the location, might as well, value our time as much as we value your time. It's like a very transactional, might as well. So hey, we're already here. Might as well. Can we get something out of you? Or you get, you can ask us anything. It's very transactional. But it could probably be avoided if we just gave some time, just a few days beforehand, build a little bit of relationship with the community they're filming in, just to let them know their appearance, them coming over. Just, at least build that relationship first and then you film. But sometimes they just arrive and see what's up, like, hey, we're already here, let's see what we can film. And I'm like, that's not how we work here. There are a lot of other ways we can approach this differently, and a lot of other ways it can be like, it can have a better result. And, it's just very different. I don't know if that's how it was run or it's just this one very particular production house. You can probably have a say on that as well.
I mean, I don't know. I think that the other thing that like, I don't know if it's like US production. I guess I feel like I haven't worked on like, a lot of US documentary production in the US. I guess to understand further.
We could also talk about consent. I forgot to
mention
that.
That's what I wanted to talk about, I guess. But like, yeah, I guess the thing is like usually in the US, consent is like a huge thing.
People understand what consent is.
I guess, yeah, people understand what consent is. I think that's why like maybe they're more chill. They're like, oh yeah, we can just come here, shoot, and like just tell them that you're gonna be on camera, blah, blah, blah. But like I think for a lot of these people, like a lot of these Indonesians, they don't really understand what being on camera how will it actually affect them. I mean, this is not only for US productions. There's some like other documentary filmmakers, locals and stuff that does the same thing. But like, it's just like, I think they don't understand how the subjects might not understand how like, okay, by being filmed and have their face or story shown on camera for like this story, how it will actually affect them at that time or like after.
Yeah, because being on camera is still celebrated. Like, hey, I'm on in front of the camera. Look, ma, I'm in front of the camera with the big camera and everything. But
it's just like, I guess maybe the thing is like, okay, people don't have some people here might not have the same digital literacy as like people in America does. I think that's like the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. They don't understand like what being on camera for this particular story might actually affect, how it might actually affect them.
Their lives, yeah.
Yeah, but then like, I mean on the production purposes, they're just like, okay, we just want to film it for our story and then done. But I feel like these people might not actually think about the impact that having these people on screen have on the community in that area.
Yeah, like even as simple as, hey, we're giving you like some consent forms. You sign them. That means like, okay, so you agreed to be part of this film. But people here don't understand what consent forms are. They just understand like, hey, I agree to be on this film, but they don't understand the implications behind it. So like, it's pointless to give them a consent form in Indonesia, for example, because the whole concept behind consent is still pretty much, still being learned, basically. So you're still, they don't know what they signed up for in the end of the day.
How do you prep them when you don't know, like, the end result? Like, if you're starting an original film, how do you have that conversation of, like, hey, look, I need your consent, or, maybe, I guess if you guys don't ever have them fill out forms, but how do you have that conversation of, if you don't know where it's going to end up, or if you don't know how it's going to affect their lives, how do you answer those questions before you begin filming?
I think you just have to be very open about what you're making, what you're going to do with it. Even though, like, say you don't know, like, oh, maybe it's going to be shown on TV, whatever. Like, it's okay. I mean, we can, as long as we're open and clear about it.
And we maintain good
relationship. Because, like, for example, I was like shooting, I was helping a friend in this trans community in a very like religious area of Indonesia. And then she was a subject of like this documentary feature film before that won a lot of awards here. But then after it happened, she basically got assaulted by police, like the entire trans community in that area. And then like
they can become exposed.
Basically. They become very exposed because of the film. And up until now, they're even like scared to get out of their like houses and stuff like that. But like she said, like, yeah, the filmmaker never even like asked me how I'm doing after, or like try to help me with, what happened to like us here basically when we get prosecuted. So like I think things like that made me kind of like really understand like, okay, it's very important that we actually really understand the impact of like us making a story about these people on screen.
And like have their understanding as well, because technically we're just a tool for them to convey their stories, right? A tool for the subjects to tell their stories to the audience. And the subject should know, like what it will, like what the story is going to be about, obviously, like who's the audience for it, basically. So yeah, I mean, it's just build a really good relationship with your subject. And as a documentary filmmaker, more so learn about ethical productions, learn about the implications, learn about risks. So like risk assessments and everything, learn about what could happen. So like that kind of differentiates us from like maybe other filmmakers because we are dealing with real people and real stories and how these stories would affect them in the future. So that's a conversation to be had, basically.
Have you seen the documentary called Roadrunner? It's about Anthony Bourdain.
No.
It's really good. It's on HBO Max, actually, if you guys have access to HBO Max. But we watched it on a plane once, not too long ago. And after I watched it, I was crying. And I like looked over to Leia and I was like, every single person that we tell a story about, like, they have to become like a family member where like we're inviting like all of our subjects to our wedding because we're like, dude, like how else like family comes to the wedding, right?
Yes.
So
yeah, it's something I really feel like that did change our perspective. And like, yeah, we talked about it earlier, but it's, yeah, the idea that the camera is there, like, like we are tools, but like our presence is part of the story in a sense because everyone notices that the camera's there and maybe sometimes they forget, but it is the relationship. It's the relationship when it's not rolling also that makes it so that, a character will call you when they have an injury and they'll let you know that, that just happened with us. So
yeah. I was surprised. Our subject, he injured his knee. And like, he has not announced this. He's like 500,000 followers on Instagram, and is like an icon in the sport of jiu-jitsu. And he texted me like the day that
Saturday night. It was
Saturday
like Saturday night.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, Matt, send me this long paragraph. Like, I hurt my knee, it's frowny face. Like, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Like, I might have a torn meniscus. He was a little broken English because he's speaking, he originally speaks Portuguese, but he, then like I like called him and he was like relaying it to me over the phone. And then we filmed with him to get his MRI today. And like, it was just like crazy. I was like, wow, I'm on his inner circle of like people that he tells, hey, I'm injured to,
Right.
And like, I've had situations very recently where like my subject is like doing something that's potentially like an important thing maybe to document for the story, and I see it on their Instagram story of them there like 4 hours ago, and I was like, I wish we filmed that.
Yeah.
But when you have that trust deep down, and they can understand your process a bit, they'll like let you know, right?
Yeah. And it humanizes them as well because like technically you're living with them throughout your whole career because they're part of your, like either you can say like your portfolio, your showreel, your everything. Their faces are there, like you would still remember them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, like just build good relationship with them. That's at least the least we can do.
When, in regards to like building relationship for Verite, like I feel like I don't always do this properly or like maybe not properly, like intentionally, like how much do you guys share about yourselves? Or like, are you intentionally thinking about like how your subject is getting to know you, right? Like so that they feel comfortable. I feel like it's been happening organically and I haven't been super intentional about that. I'm just curious what your guys' method is.
For me, I think I do share, like for example, with movie and
A lot.
I do share
A lot.
a lot. I mean, not a lot, but I mean, like I share, I guess some things that, because like I know, like if I share, it's in a way like it's a two-way thing when you're getting to know someone. Like if you share something about yourself to them, then they also share something about themselves to them. Like for example, with like one of my protagonist, like, because I know she's like struggling with like mental health also. Then I also tell her like, oh yeah, I'm also struggling with this, blah blah blah, and
Not alone.
and then she also like tell me about it. Whenever she's like also having these troubles as well. I mean, like whether or not I end up shooting it or like putting it in the film or whatever, but I think that trust is then built. Then she's more comfortable to tell all this stuff with me, to me basically. In camera or not in camera, to be honest. Yeah.
Because I think like filmmakers, they tend to forget that these people are human as well, and they were like, oh shit, I missed a moment because I'm talking to them off camera, right? But let it be, because like for a film, it might be replaced with your next big film, right? Or it might not be your big film now because you missed all of these moments, but you can make your next big film later. But then your relationship with these people you connected with stays, right? And I think that's more important than just, fulfilling our ego with our films, basically.
Yeah, like our film Teguh, like I think that's when I realized how much a film can impact our subject. Because like, so you've watched it, it's like the gay couple. And then basically when we're editing, the partner passed away. And then he called us in the hospital crying during that day. We were just editing and then like, oh, he passed away. Yeah. And we're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
So like,
wow. What did you guys do after you got that call?
I stopped editing for a bit.
I stopped editing. I cried. I cried. I ugly cried, yeah, basically.
Yeah, it was very difficult because I mean, even though like, we spent like 7 days with him, but then like he opened up a lot to us, especially like maybe also the topic like LGBT topics. A lot of like he basically the protagonist hasn't really come out to a lot of people. So in a way, us being there kind of create a safe space for him to also like
talk about these things.
Yeah, and also express himself. So like without us realizing, we became kind of like a part of like an important part of his life.
So we become very close friends with him. Like he stayed at our place like multiple times. Like he would come to Jakarta and be like, hey, can I crash at your place? Yeah, sure, man. Just like whatever. Just stay, man. Would you like to eat something? It's just nice. But that film ended up morphed into like this love letter towards the partner.
Yeah.
So like we put in some extra scenes in the end that kind of like encapsulates their love to each other off camera, like with phone footage and everything, just to like a montage of beautiful things that they had together. And then we had that ending scene.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess like, I think after that happened, I just wanted the film just so like, for him and his partner, basically, that's like all I care about. Is like, as long as they're happy and then like I can help, basically his last wishes before he passed away, then I'm happy.
Yeah. We do get basically our client wants to publish it on YouTube, but then we were like, no, like just don't. Not at this moment, not at this time. YouTube is not the right platform for it. Because when you subject this story to the public, then you know how the public would react. And he's not in a good mental space to handle all of these comments. So they're like, no, don't do it. Don't do it ever. We'll publish it somewhere safe and go into film festivals, basically.
Or whatever.
For
else platform.
Any platforms that are like, like-minded people who could understand, like provide a safe, like launch for the film that he could feel supported. That's how we can affect the film and like the subject as well.
And what about you guys' future? What is the ultimate North Star for 710 Media or for you both?
For 710 first, maybe. I mean, I think like you said, like you wanted like 7 Media not only just for a way for us to make money, but also kind of became a place where we can kind of help like other documentary filmmakers to kind of create the documentaries that they want to create. We kind of want to help, I guess, the documentary industry grows a bit more in Indonesia, but creating a safe space also for...
Yeah, because the thing is, our end goal is for us not to direct films anymore, not to be involved in the filmmaking anymore, but focusing on more creating like a community, a safe space, a platform for other people who could just like join us and be supported in their filmmaking, or like be guided in the way they think about things, like what probably would be, we wouldn't call ourselves experts, but we can share our experiences on how to do certain things, and like basically just support and let other filmmakers grow through our platform or like through our community. I guess that's the best way to go with it.
Yeah, I think so. Because I think, now we just want to, we just want to create that kind of platform. And I think, like, I don't know, for me personally, I think I'm, like, I think the more I'm, like, exposed to, like, the reality here, the more I just kind of want to, like, maybe do more, like, focus on more, like, impact producing and stuff like that, too, to be honest.
Where should films go? Like, is it only on YouTube or film festivals? Like, how could it actually impact the story and the effect it can be on the communities?
Leia made a really good suggestion for one of our films that we're pursuing right now about where it should live. You reminded me, because it's like, oh yeah, it totally does matter, and it does affect. It can be so successful if it's in the right place, and it can be a total flop, right, if it's not. But we're calling it One-Handed Fighter, but it's about a guy who's born with one hand, and he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's really good. And Leia's like, we should try to get it in schools for like an education purpose, because he's like super wise, inspiring perspective, even though he has one hand, and he looks at it like everyone tries to help him and stuff because he has one hand, but he's like, I'm more capable than you, kind of a thing. So it's a super inspiring thing, and he coaches kids, in the story. So it's like, duh, like every kid could just put themselves in the characters of the other kids and be inspired by him.
That's exactly what Impact Campaign is, to actually know your audience and who's the best fit for the audience, right? Like, forget all about like awards, laurels, film festivals, and everything. If at the end of the day, your film is better suited for like this particular target audience, then we should cater that audience instead of our egos, or like, just focus where the film will survive and like will thrive and like will actually inspire other people. Because I think that's what matters most, the audience.
That is a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard, please leave us a review and share it with a friend. If you are a doc filmmaker and love talking doc, then you should join our doc club. All the info and all the links will be in the show notes. Take care, and I will see you next time.